The 2025 NBA Draft just came and went, which means that it's officially old news and it's now time to shift our focus on to next year's draft in 2026. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm well aware that it's way too early to be seriously analyzing where next year's top prospects will be drafted, but it's still fun to do it anyway. So in today's video, we're going to give it our best go. Of course, I'm well aware that so much can change over the course of the next season, and don't actually think that this mock draft will be dead on accurate, but at the very least, this can be used as a useful and helpful tool to familiarize yourselves with the biggest names to watch out for next season. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. Starting with the number 1 pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Darryn Peterson, who will be attending Kansas this year. The class of 2026 has 3 players firmly in the mix to be the top pick next year, and I personally am highest on Peterson at the moment for a variety of reasons. When it comes to what makes an elite next-level shooting guard, Peterson checks pretty much every box you can think of, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say that he's on track to be the best guard prospect to come through the ranks in a very long time. Peterson is a 6'5" player with a 6'10" long wingspan. He's decisive and purposeful with how he attacks off the dribble. He's an assassin of a scoring talent from all 3 levels, capable of creating space with ease and rising up making tough shots look easy, and I firmly expect him to be competing for scoring titles in the NBA in his prime. He's a winner, driven to do whatever it takes to come out on top. He's had some unbelievable performances head-to-head against some of the other top prospects in this class at the high school level, dropping 40 and 50-point games on them, and at Kansas, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, with a good chance to be one of the country's leading scorers in college this year. Next, with the 2nd pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Cameron Boozer, who will be attending Duke this season. Cam Boozer is the son of former NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer, and there's a very good chance that Cam could end up being an even better pro than his father was. No disrespect to Carlos Boozer whatsoever, because he used to ball out on those 2000s Utah Jazz teams, but Cam is a freak athlete on both sides of the ball with a level of skill to pair with it that Dad just did not have. Cam is 6'9" and 250 pounds of muscle. He easily overpowers matchups that he'll face, and his crisp handle and impressive agility at his size make him a matchup nightmare for any defender to try to slow down. On top of all of that, he has excellent body control, so he moves like a quick guard while being built like a tank on defense, and he has the awareness, talent, and IQ to capably defend all 5 positions. At Duke, he very well could have a season reminiscent of what we just saw from Cooper Flagg, and will definitely make a push for the top pick. Next, with the 3rd pick in the draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Dybantsa, who will be attending BYU this season. Dybantsa is the 3rd player that I realistically view as a player that could put himself in the mix to be a top pick in this draft, but at the moment I have him ranked 3rd out of these 3. He's another highly impressive 6'9" wing player with the ball handling skills of a guard and the physical tools of an 8-year NBA veteran, so his strength and body composition are very advanced for someone his age. Like the other 2, he uses his size and length to bully the opposition, he can get to the rim at will, he's a truly special athlete, and defensively he's another guy who competes as hard as anybody, with the potential to be special on that end. The reason I have him 3rd compared to the other 2 is going to be a nitpick because it's all so close between them, but Dybantsa's handle is a bit looser than others, and I worry about whether his upside as a scorer is as high as the other 2 players. But regardless, he's someone that can change the direction of an NBA franchise, and at BYU, he'll be a high-usage player ready to lead the way for them. Next, with the 4th pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Nate Ament, who will be attending Tennessee this season. Ament is a bit of a late bloomer in this class who grew a lot over the last year or so, and as he fills out his now 6'11" frame, he's a player that should continue to turn heads. He's only just starting to scratch the surface of his potential too, and he plays more like a wing player than a big man, which will always impress NBA scouts for a guy his size. At his height, with his length, he easily rises up for jumpers unfazed by shot contests. He's very confident around the rim and will sneakily bring some power finishing above the rim. I'm just still waiting to see whether his handle is strong enough to serve as a true number 1 option, or if he's better suited for a secondary role. At Tennessee, he's expected to be heavily featured, and those questions should be answered by next year's draft. Next, with the 5th pick, the Atlanta Hawks, who own the Pelicans pick, select Kareem Lopez, who plays in New Zealand in the NBL. Lopez already has a year of experience under his belt playing professionally in the NBL as a 17-year-old, and he performed fairly well for someone so young, carving out a role in the team's rotation, playing over 20 minutes per game. You would never have guessed he was only 17 years old by the way he plays though, because he's another big-bodied, strong forward at 6'9", who has the explosive and power around the rim to finish well through contact. The hope for this upcoming season is that he'll work his way into an even bigger role on the team and find himself featured more in the offense to get a better understanding of how good he is as an individual creator and shot maker, but he has the tools teams at the top of the draft will want to take a swing on, and developing in a professional atmosphere gives him a leg up on a lot of his peers. Next, with the 6th pick, the Memphis Grizzlies, who own the Suns pick, select Jaden Quaintance, who will be attending Kentucky this season. Quaintance is actually in a unique position because he's actually going into his 2nd season of college basketball after reclassifying to play at Arizona State a year earlier, which he did this past season, and he played the entire year as a 17-year-old and doesn't actually turn 18 years old until July. So he's one of the youngest players in the entire draft class, and somehow has a year of college basketball experience under his belt already. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL near the end of this season, but all reports are indicating that he should be fully recovered early on next season, and after transferring to Kentucky, he'll be coming in ready to dominate. Quaintance was one of the best shot blockers in all of college basketball last year, swatting 2.6 shots per game. He crashed the glass hard, he moved well without the ball, and as long as he comes back fully healthy, he should be able to level up across the board. Next, with the 7th pick, the Portland Trail Blazers select Caleb Wilson, who will be attending North Carolina this season. Wilson, I will admit, is one of the more difficult prospects to truly predict at this time, and his season at UNC will tell a lot about his path to the league. His game is predicated on his ability to force his way to the rim and finish through contact as well as anybody. As a slasher on the wing, he is tremendous at finding ways to beat defenders off the dribble and get to the basket, and looks to attack seemingly every time he touches it. He's yet another 6'9" wing player that provides excellent two-way versatility. His length and physical talent beat most of his peers, and when he's locked in, he's a force. But one of the early complaints about him is that he doesn't always seem to push himself as hard as he can go, and whether his jumper is good enough to keep defenses honest is still yet to be seen. Next, with the 8th pick in the draft, the Sacramento Kings select Darius Acuff Jr., who will be attending Arkansas this season. Acuff plays exactly like most modern-day all-star caliber point guards you see in the league today, as a steady floor general who commands the offense, is a high-usage player, and can put the team on his back, generating a lot of points both for himself and those around him. He's been one of the most productive guards in the country in each of the last 2 seasons, and is a product of IMG Academy, which has a very good track record of producing NBA talent. Over the last 2 years, he's put on a ton of muscle, he's gotten more confident in his ability to take a game over, his passing has shined bright, and his ability to score from all 3 levels is going to stand out at Arkansas this season under Coach John Calipari. Next, with the 9th pick, the Chicago Bulls select Dame Sarr, who will be attending Duke this season. Sarr is a European talent who played last season at Barcelona, who is coming to America to compete at the collegiate level, hoping it can solidify his status as a top prospect in the class. At Duke, he'll be teaming up with Cam Boozer, and his role will be found on the wing as a versatile defender that can operate well in a secondary offensive role. He navigates screens well as the ball handler, he's a reliable spot-up shooter spacing the floor, he moves well without the ball, but he will need to improve as a creator with the ball in his hands in order to solidify himself in the eyes of NBA scouts. And finally, with the 10th pick in the draft, the Miami Heat select Mikel Brown Jr., who will be attending Louisville this season. Brown's rise up recruiting rankings has been steady over the course of his high school career, as he grew from 5'10" up to 6'4" by the time he graduated, now having the ideal size of an NBA point guard. Brown is at his best sizing up his defenders, taking them off the dribble one-on-one, and creating enough separation to get a good shot off. He's a tough shot maker at his core, with a lethal pull-up jumper from deep, and he'll be a very strong lead guard at Louisville, but in order to solidify himself as a top prospect at the NBA level, he's going to need to bulk up a bit and work on his finishing ability around the rim. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about next year's draft talent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.